Hello everybody, this is a interesting one. This is a new one. This is a review style video, if you will. I don't want to call it a review, but it is. It is a review. I've been playing this game a couple of days on stream, and I've got a lot of opinions about it. And I want to talk about those opinions, and I want to get those opinions out there. And so that's what we're doing today. We're having a little look at the Jurassic World Evolution. It's a new game. It's come out a few days ago, by developed and published by Frontier Developments. They have also developed and published Planet Coaster and Elite Dangerous. Now, remember that they produced and developed Planet Coaster. And Planet Coaster, if you've never played it, is a theme park kind of game where you build a park, fill it full of rides, and people come to your park and pay you money. That's what it is. It's a park building type of game. And that's what I thought this was going to be, but with dinosaurs. And it kind of is, and it kind of isn't. And that's why I want to look at it. It's an interesting game, for sure. But I wanted to have a little look at it with you guys. And so this is what we're doing. So, immediately when I loaded up the game for the first time, I was presented with this very pretty start menu. But there was one thing that was missing. There was one thing that was immediately missing to me, and that was, where are all the game modes? Where are they all? We have continue, which obviously because I've already played it, but all we had was new game and load, and I immediately went, where are the game modes? And this was my first red flag. This was my first red flag to this game. Maybe isn't quite as what I thought it was going to be. Now, I'm not going to really look at all the settings and things like that because there's no need. They're all very bog standard. There's plenty of settings in there. You've got your usual gameplay, graphics, and all of that. Graphics are all the usual. Nothing really too terribly out of there. Gameplay, it's all pretty much help and icons. Nothing too interesting. Nothing too unique. And controls, you can bind your keys, which is nice. I like that. I like to be able to bind my keys. I haven't really messed with them, but it's there, so I appreciate that. But there's nothing really that interesting in there apart from this terms and conditions, which we'll get back to that later. But there's nothing in here really that, stands out that we need to look at. So that's all fine. Everything's fine in that respect. The game seems to be well developed so far, which we'll delve into the game. Definitely we'll delve into the game and have a look at it in greater detail. But let's just continue. Let's continue where I started. So like I say, my first impression was, where the hell are the game modes? And there aren't any. There aren't any game modes. There are and there aren't. It's a little bit of a weird one, honestly. So comparing it to Planet Coaster had sandbox mode, challenge modes. It had all sorts. It had all sorts of different modes on. And this one doesn't. So, well, this is the third island. Let's get out of here for a second. So when you boot up the game for the first time, you are introduced to this map. Now, this map has several islands on. You've got Isla Matanceros, Isla Muerta, Isla Sona, Isla Tacaño, Isla Pena, is that, am I saying that right? And Isla Nublar. Now, some of these are the actual islands from the films, which is great. I think Isla Nublar is one of them. Isla Sona, I think, is the original one, I think. And anyway, so we start with Matanceros. This is the island that you start with. Now, all of these ones are locked when you start, but the only one that's unlocked is Matanceros. So this is the one that you start with. So let's go ahead and jump into Matanceros. So I'm going to try and do this objectively. I'm going to try and look at this game in a logical way. Bear with me. Like I say, this is the first time I've ever done a review style video before. I've never done anything like this. It's a little bit weird for me. It's a little bit new. And I'm going to try and break it down in a logical order. So the first thing I'm going to tackle is the graphics, because it's the first thing that you see in any game. The first thing that you notice, the first thing that you appreciate or don't like is the aesthetics, is the art style, is the graphics. And I really like the graphics in this game. I think they are fantastic. Immediately you can see, okay, this game looks good. And it does look good. Everything about this game looks good. There is not a single thing really that I don't like about the graphics. We have the actual island itself looks fantastic, even in the background. Look at those mountains. Now they're all outside of the playable range, but they still look fantastic. Everything looks great. The people look fantastic for a management sim game, whatever you want to call it. The people look good. They look better than others. They look kind of realistic. They do have a little problem where they walk around in the little copy paste bunches. I'll see if I can find one for you, where they do sort of walk around in little copy paste groups. There's one. Little copy paste groups, but it's fine. those, you know, things like that are kind of common to these games because the game has to generate a lot of people. So I can forgive that. It doesn't matter. But generally, they look quite good. You know, they're walking around your park. They're interacting. They're doing things. That's fine. The graphics of the trees and vegetation, they all look fine. They all look great. You know, nothing wrong with them. That's fine. And the dinosaurs themselves look fantastic. So the basis of this game is it is a park management game. You manage a park. For better or for worse, you manage a Jurassic Park. Just like in the films. Just like in the films, you manage a park. But yeah, the dinosaurs look great. Look at them. They look fantastic. They have little animations. They, you know, they're never static. They sniff the air. They walk around. They do a little roar and all of that. You know, shadows look great. The vegetation looks great. Everything looks fantastic. Look at the water. Look at that water. It looks just like water Mama used to make. It doesn't, but there you go. It looks fantastic. I cannot fault the graphics in this game one little bit. So once you've had a little look at the graphics, once you've appreciated those, and like I say, it's the first thing you notice in any game. Let's have a look at a couple more dinosaurs. Why not? Once you've appreciated the graphics, the next thing you kind of notice is the audio. And the audio is pretty good too. The audio is not bad. Like I say, the dinosaurs have a, you know, they all have their little sound animations. You can hear them. You can listen to them. You can usually hear them when you're zoomed out as well. You can hear them from quite far. There is music in the game. There isn't really much ambient music, if I'm being honest. The music is pretty much in the menu. I don't know if you heard some of the music in the menu, in the start menu. And there's a little bit of music when you're loading between islands. But apart from that, there really isn't really all that much ambient music. There's a little bit. But everything sounds pretty good. Everything sounds pretty good. If we get my monorail, where is my monorail? If you zoom a little bit closer to the monorail, you can hear that. Again, sounds nice. You know, everything sounds good. So graphically and audio-wise, this game is pretty good, pretty solid. The problems start when we hit into the gameplay, and I'm going to be open, I'm going to be honest and upfront. There are several problems I have with this game, gameplay-wise. In fact, there are many problems I have with this game, gameplay-wise. We're going to get into those. I have enjoyed my time with the game. I think I'm about 15 hours in so far, which, you know, there's more to it than that. I haven't unlocked every island yet. I haven't finished the game. So this is kind of a first impressions review. But the game is enjoyable. The game is enjoyable so far, but I have lots of problems with it. So let's delve in. Let's have a look at the basics of the game. So what do you do? What do you do in this game? If you've never played a park management or sort of park sim before, the basics of the game is you get given a park that has some things in it. In this case, we have dinosaurs. Dinosaurs in cages, in paddocks. And you have to attract people to your park to come and visit. And people come, and the more people come, the more money you get. And the better your park is, the more people will come. So the basics of the game is build paddocks full of dinosaurs and people will come and visit them. So how do you do that? How do you build a paddock? So first of all, you got to build a fence. Now we actually got given this paddock to start with. This was one that was pre-built, so I didn't build this one. But you got to build a fence. So once you build a fence, you can see this fence goes all the way around. Once you build a fence and you have, you know, put some trees in. Dinosaurs like trees. They like water. Then you got to fill it with dinosaurs. How do you do that? So you take a Hammond Creation Lab, which is a building that you pretty much need for every paddock, unless you do airlifting. You need one of these buildings. Now these buildings are what incubate your dinosaurs. So you have a oh, we have a failed dinosaur there. You have a hatchery essentially. And in that hatchery, you have a number of dinosaurs that you can choose from. Now, these dinosaurs you unlock as you go along. As you can see, we have plenty of dinosaurs left to unlock. We have not unlocked them all by any means. And you only start with a couple. I think you start with maybe 2 dinosaurs to start with. So you unlock new dinosaurs. So you have a progression system in the game. And you unlock them over time. That's fine. Now, different dinosaurs, obviously, we have herbivores and carnivores. And different dinosaurs have different needs. Different dinosaurs... You don't generally want to mix carnivores and herbivores. That can generally be a bad time. But that's what you do. So you use your creation lab to birth dinosaurs into your paddock. And then you got to look after them. You have to look after them. You ever got to feed them. So for example, our Ceratosaurus here, CRT005, because I couldn't be bothered to name him. He needs to be fed. And he is a carnivore. You can tell he's a carnivore by that little meat symbol next to his name. So we give him a live bait feeder. That will feed him. That will spawn some goats. He will chase the goats, eat the goats, and that keeps him alive. So that's the basic. That is the basics of the game. You make a paddock, you put dinosaurs in it, and you look after them. That is the basic mechanics of the game. Obviously, the game has deeper features than that. It has more mechanics than that, but that is the basics. That is what you're going to be doing in every park. You have to do that. You have to fill the park with dinosaurs. There is no other way. You can't have a park really without dinosaurs, which we'll come into that in a little while. We'll look at those points like that in a little while. But that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be filling paddocks with dinosaurs, and generally you're going to be doing that a lot. So that's what you do. That's the basics of that. That's the basics of the game. And after that, once you have built a paddock and put a dinosaur in, you want your guests to be able to view them. They want to be able to see the dinosaurs. So how do they do that? So to be able to see the dinosaurs, we have to manage our visibility, and visibility is managed by a number of different buildings. So that's another feature of this game, is without just building the dinosaurs, you actually have to build buildings as well and manage the buildings. So viewing galleries are your basic how to view dinosaurs. Does that make sense? How to view dinosaurs? You know what I mean. This is how guests will view your dinosaurs. Straight from the newer films as well. Looks very similar. They'll come up in here and they'll stand in here and they'll look at your dinosaurs. So once you build a viewing gallery, you can see this cone here is the visibility of that gallery. So if there is a dinosaur within that cone, the people can see it. If there is not a dinosaur within that cone, people are going to be unhappy. They can't see no dinosaurs. So that's another basic mechanic of the game. Make sure people can see your attractions. Makes sense, right? You don't go to a zoo if you can't see the lions. That makes sense. That's all fine and dandy. But we've got to make sure that all of our buildings have power. Power is another mechanic, a very basic mechanic found in a lot of park management and building games. And we do that by building power stations. Very, very simple. We build a power station. Our small power station 1 has an output of 70 and it has 0 unused power. That means that all of this power from this station is being used. And you move that power around your park with pylons, and then you use substations to power the buildings. So for example, this little substation here, this little yellow ring you can see, that is the radius of the substation, and every building within that yellow radius can receive power from that substation, which is then connected to the power station. So this is very common. It's a very common mechanic in these kind of games. You've got to make sure everything has power. You've got to make sure everything has a path to it as well. If a building doesn't have a path to it, it won't work. And so you have to manage your power. You have to be sensible about where you're placing your power stations, your substations, because every substation has its own consumption of 1. And so if you're putting substations all over the map, you're going to be running less efficiently than you'd like to. And power stations cost money to run. So you don't want too many power stations, really. But we'll come to power later, because there are some mechanics around power that I'm not too happy about, but we'll come to that later on. But the basics of the power mechanics are fine. You build power stations, buildings use the power from the power stations. If you don't build enough, you will have power outages. If you build too many, you're going to be wasting money. It's management. I like that. Mechanic. That is absolutely fine. So you might be wondering, well, we have some dinosaurs. How do we get more? How do we unlock more dinosaurs? It's very simple in this game how we unlock more dinosaurs. You're going to have an expedition center. Now this expedition center, here we again, going back to the power, requires 16 power to run it. If it doesn't have power, it can't run. But this is how you unlock new dinosaurs. If we click on the expedition center, we can go out and do an expedition. So this is the expedition map. This is where we acquire new dinosaur genomes. Now I have a couple of problems with this mechanic. Let's see how it works. So if we click on one of these nodes, we have these nodes. Blue nodes are nodes we've already mined, if you will, and yellow ones are new ones that have new fossils within them. So if we hover over one of these, if we hover over this one, this is Canada. It's a dinosaur park formation. It's a fossil site. It makes sense. And in Canada, there are some commonly found specimens. We have some Corythosaurus, some Struthiomimus, and some Parasaurolophus. Those are the 3 types of fossils we can find there if we do an expedition. Now these fossils are what we use to be able to birth the new ones, new dinosaurs. I don't think we have any fossils just yet. We don't. So let's just show you how that expedition works. So we'll click on this one. We'll go to Canada. We click on it, and our dig team goes out and flies to Canada. Now, they're en route. It will calculate how long it's going to take them. It does take several minutes for this process to happen, which makes sense. They're flying to Canada, you know, takes a little while. So it's going to take them 2 minutes. This whole process is going to take 2 minutes for them to complete. And then they'll come back, and then we can send them out on another expedition if we so wish. So this is how you acquire new dinosaurs. Now, I don't mind this mechanic. It's fine. But one little niggle I have with this mechanic is there's quite often a time where we go, right, okay, we want a new dinosaur. We specifically built a paddock for, let's just say a Diplodocus, okay? We built a paddock and we want to fill it with Diplodocus. Now, how do we do that? We've got to go and get some Diplodocus. Well, as you can see, a lot of these dig sites have several dinosaurs, several dinosaur fossils in them. Some don't, some just have one, but look at that one. That one has several. In fact, how many has that got? That's got 7. That's got 7 different types of fossil. Now, it's kind of random. If you go to Lance Formation, USA, you could get one of these, you could get several of these, but there is no way to guarantee, say, for example, a Triceratops. There is no way to guarantee that. And so if you're trying to find, here we go, it's a perfect example. We want a Diplodocus, okay? We want a Diplodocus. We want a brand new Diplodocus in our park. We have a chance, if we go to Garden Park, to get a Diplodocus or a Brachiosaurus. Well, we already have Brachiosaurus. I already have that genome. I can already make them. I already have some. So if we send our dig team to Garden Park, there's a chance they're going to come back with something we don't want. That's fine, I guess. It doesn't take all that long. You're talking 2 to 3 minutes. But again, it just seems a little bit silly. Sometimes you can guarantee, you know, you can get a Parasaurolophus there. You're guaranteed to get Parasaurolophus. Sometimes you can't, and this seems to be a problem, especially with the big popular ones. Like there's a perfect example. Everybody wants a T-Rex. Come on, everybody wants a Tyrannosaurus Rex in their park. You've got to roll the dice. You got to roll the dice on that one. Now you can go around the map, you can go around the globe and see, well, is there a dig site that has just T-Rex in it? And sometimes you might get lucky. You might get one that just has a Velociraptor or that just has a T-Rex. But a lot of the time, you're going to be waiting on chance. And if you have to send your dig team out 5 or 6 times, that's just a lot of waiting. You know, that's a lot of waiting that we do. So that's something that I'm not too keen on, but it's not a huge issue. So our expedition has completed. It's come back. So let's have a look what we got. So we're going to get some fossils. So here's what we got from the expedition. We got a Struthiomimus fossil, we got a Parasaurolophus fossil, and we got a Iridium. Now, these things are just sell them for money. They are nothing more than that. You just sell them for a little bit of money. That's fine. But these are what we're really interested in. These are the fossils that contain the dinosaur DNA. Now, to unlock a new dinosaur, you have to get their genome to at least 50%. Now, we can see our Parasaurolophus is at 56%. That means we've already unlocked Parasaurolophus. That means we can birth them, we can create them, we can release them into the park. If that was below 50%, we would not be able to do that. We would not be able to even try. So, what do? We extract the DNA. We extract the DNA. You can see my Struthiomimus is at 95%. If we extract this DNA, it is going to increase that number. Same thing with the Parasaurolophus. We can extract that DNA. That's going to increase that. A really nice little feature that they added in was that you can extract all of these and they will do them in the order that you picked them. That is good because you don't want to be going in and out of this menu every single time we've got a different fossil, because sometimes you can get 2 or 3 fossils, sometimes you have all of your fossil slots are full, and so it's nice that we can kind of automate that. But what does this mean? What does this 56% genome mean? I'll show you exactly what that means. That means if I go back to my creation lab and I want to incubate one of these dinosaurs, there are their genomes. You can see my Struthiomimus is at 98% because of that fossil we just found. We have a Ankylosaurus, is that right? Ankylosaurus? An Ankylosaurus at 63%. And we have a Parasaurolophus at 56%, just for an example. So what do these numbers mean? These numbers mean that is the chance, a successful chance of that dinosaur being birthed. Now, dinosaurs aren't guaranteed to survive the process, the birthing process. If I clicked on a Torosaurus right now and tried to incubate it, it's only got a 50% chance of survival. So the more genome you have, the better chance of survival your dinosaurs have. Now, this is important. The reason this is important is because some of the maps you struggle with money. Now this map I've got 55 million, so it doesn't really matter. But if you're struggling for money, some of these dinosaurs cost a lot of money. Like look, a T-Rex costs 1.9 million, nearly 2 million a T-Rex costs. And that's at 64%. So if that T-Rex fails the incubation process, you've just wasted 2 million. And now again, I have a lot of money on this map, on this island. But you don't on all of the islands, and we'll come to the island number 3 where that's really a consideration. And so that's what you do. You keep getting more genomes, and the higher percentage you get, the higher the chance that these are going to survive the incubation process, and they will then be birthed into your paddock, and they will be there for you. So these numbers also have another little interesting mechanic in them. So if we take our Struthomymus at 98%. He's got 98% chance of surviving the process, but we can modify his genome if we so wish. If we go into modify genome, we can start to tinker and mess with his DNA. Now, we can apply a cosmetic. We can give him an arid pattern gene. We can do that. We can increase his lifespan. We can increase things such as, for example, his resilience or his lifespan or his attack or his defense, so on and so forth. But every time you apply a genome, every time you tinker with it, you reduce his viability. So if we apply this skin, that reduces his viability down to 88%, which again, we've just talked about, means he's got a less chance of surviving. Now, some of these are really useful. Like things like the skins, they're fine. You don't have to bother with them. An arid pattern gene is fine. We'll just make the dinosaur look a little bit different. But some of these actually are really useful to have. Now, for a good example for this is we can splice in some shark DNA. And splicing in some shark DNA is going to increase the attack, but it's also going to increase the lifespan and the resilience. In fact, sorry, it doesn't increase the attack, but it does increase the lifespan and the resilience. What that means is our dinosaur is going to live longer, and our dinosaur is going to be more resistant to disease and infections. So that's pretty handy to have, but that again does reduce the viability down to 80%. So it reduces it down by 11%. That means that the genome has less chance to survive, but if it does survive, it's going to be hardier. So it's kind of worth having that one. And there are several different genome slots that we can do, and they all do different things. So there we go. We've applied some genomes. It's now at 71%. That is like I say, that is a mechanic in the game that kind of makes it a little bit more challenging, if you will. It doesn't really add challenge to it, but if your genome isn't high enough, you're going to be wasting money. You're going to be waiting longer. T-Rexes actually take a long time to incubate, so you're wasting time and money if they don't survive. So you kind of want to get the genomes as high as possible. But you can actually do any genome that's 50% or higher. You can't attempt it if it's lower than 50. So that's how you unlock new dinosaurs. So we need to unlock a Maiasaura. It's at 42%. Let's go and try and unlock that now. We'll go and find a Maiasaura. Can we find one that doesn't have any others? There we go. We can find that one that doesn't have any others. So we know we're going to get some Maiasaura genomes. So let's go ahead and do that. But that is how you unlock new dinosaurs. Now, we also have research. Research is very self-explanatory. We can research new things. You can research new fossils, new genetic enhancements, new buildings, and so on and so forth, building upgrades, medical treatments, and enclosures. Now, these get unlocked as you do missions. There are missions in the game. There are quests, if you will, that you want to complete, and they will unlock new things for you. And this is also tied to the islands as well. There are certain things that you can only research once you've unlocked the second island. There are certain things you can only research when you've unlocked the third, and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and research that. Research is very simple. You click on it and it researches after a set amount of time. They're usually not very long, which is kind of interesting to me. It kind of makes me think, what is the point? If that takes a minute to research, what is the point? I would honestly rather it took a little bit longer and maybe we had a little bit less choice or something like that. I'd rather it took a little bit longer and we didn't have to keep constantly coming back to the research center, because that's going to be researched in 30 seconds now, and I'm going to have to go back to that research center and click something else. So that's, the research is a little bit, it's a little bit shallow. The research upgrades on, you know, they're very good. You want all of them. That's the point. There's no choices there. You don't go, oh, well, do I want this one or do I want that one? You just want all of them. And so once you have unlocked new research, you basically might as well just sit in the research center and wait for it all to be done. There is no, do you know what I mean? There is no like talent trees or whatever. There's no choices to be made. They are just research everything. Like, it costs money, but honestly, money isn't really that much of an issue. Like, you don't even need to think really about what do I research first. Just do anything. Just literally check anything. There you go. We'll do outage protection, sure. Do you know what I mean? There's not really a, oh, what do I really need? Because you don't really need anything. So that's the basics of the game. That's the basics. There are other things. We add, you know, food and places for people to spend money. That's all good. That just increases our money. That's fine. Now, the other thing, the other basics in this game, there are ranger teams and there are ACU. I think that stands for Accident and Crisis Unit. I'm not too sure. I could probably find out. I'm not really that bothered. But anyway, these are another essential mechanics in your parks. Now, the ranger stations are absolutely essentials. Rangers do a number of different things. You may have noticed that we have this little thing up here, this little notification system up here, which I've kind of been ignoring, which is really going to hurt my park, but we'll come into that. This is what rangers deal with. Rangers deal with a number of things. They deal with resupplying feeders, because feeders are not unlimited. They will run out. For example, our live bait feeder here is empty. It has 10 reserves. So they deal with that. They also deal with medicating our dinosaurs. Now, our dinosaurs have contracted a disease. That means they're not very well. So what do we do with that? We have to do our rangers. Our rangers need to heal them. So we can add the task. We can add them to do that. Find where the sick dino is. There's the sick dino, and they can go and medicate. So that's basically what rangers do. They have 3 roles. They have medicating dinosaurs, they have resupplying feeders, and they can also repair buildings. Now building damage is a thing that comes a little bit later on, and that's what rangers do. Now, an interesting thing that you can do with the rangers is you can actually do it yourself. You can actually get in the vehicle, fully control it, drive around your park, and do these things yourself. And I like that. It's a nice touch. You know, it's nice to be able to get in the ranger vehicle, drive around, and do all of the, excuse my driving, by the way, and do all of the tasks. It's nice to have the option. It's nice that you can do that if you wish. You don't have to. You can set the rangers to do it, but if you want to do it yourself, you are more than welcome to. And I like that. I appreciate that as a mechanic. So as an example, we're going to go now and fill up this feeder. It's empty, so it's not going to be supplying any food. So my dinosaur is going to starve to death, which is a very real possibility. So we've resupplied it. There we go. We've left clicked on it and we've resupplied it. If we were to want to medicate a dinosaur, we can do that as well. We don't need to right now, but just to show you, we can actually medicate the dinosaurs too. So if you go ahead and hit R, you can use your rifle and you can medicate the dinosaurs. Which is say you want to do this when they're ill or if they are low on health, but you could do it, and it has shooting mechanics. You know, you shoot the dino. The shooting's a little bit odd. It's a little bit weird. You are shooting darts, but there we go. We can do that. And if you just want to drive around your paddock and view your dinos, you can take photos and all of that. You know, you can drive up to our Ceratosaurus here, take a nice little photo of his backside, and you do get a little bit of money for that. It's kind of an insignificant amount of money, really. Some of the missions do require you to do things like, for example, drive into the paddock and take a photo of a Ceratosaurus drinking, which we've done that mission. That was actually a pain in the arse, but we did that. So it's nice that we can do that. It's nice that we have that option to do that ourselves. Again, you can just drive around a paddock if you want to just explore. You don't have to do anything, but you can. And I know what you're all thinking. I know what you're all thinking. Can we run everybody over? No, we cannot. They dive out of the way. I'm severely disappointed about that. But we can do that. That's wonderful. I like that. That was very, very nice of them to add that in. Here's my problem. Here's my major problem with this whole situation and this whole mechanic. There is no way to automate this system. You cannot tell your rangers to go and do things when you're not managing them. For example, I have 5+ feeders now that are empty. If I click on that, look at all these feeders that are empty. I've got lots of feeders that are empty. In fact, we just have a dead dinosaur, but we have lots of feeders that are empty. There is no way to tell my rangers to automatically fill them up. What we have to do is we have to click on the ranger station, we have to click on a ranger team, and we have to assign them tasks. Now, rangers start being able to do 2 tasks at once. I've upgraded them so they can do 3. There we go. That's what we've got to do. We've got to do this every single time they run out of food. And believe me, they run out of food very quickly, especially if you have a large paddock with lots of dinosaurs in. Now, you can add loads more feeders, you know, to make sure they run out less. But the thing is the feeders will just keep automatically generating food whether they get eaten or not. So if you add loads of feeders to your paddock, you're going to be resupplying them a lot. The inability to automate this process is, in my opinion, a huge negative against the game for me. It is. I don't want to say a negative against a score, because I'm not going to score a game. I don't believe in scores particularly. I think they're not very useful. But I think that this is a very, very key feature that should have been in here. Now, again, we can do 3. We can do up to 3 actions, and then we have to go and get a different ranger team, or we have to wait for the first ranger team to complete their tasks. This is one paddock. This is one paddock. I'm now using a second ranger team to go and fill up the feeders. I have more of these. I have more of these that need doing. I've got to wait. I've got to wait. In fact, can I build another ranger station? I'm not sure if I can. Let's have a look. So I can build another ranger station, but here's the problem. If I have 2 ranger stations, that means I have 2 ranger stations to manage. I've got to manage them whether I like it or not. There is no way, for example, to say Ranger Team 1, your job is to resupply, and Ranger Team 2, your job is to medicate, and let them go and do that themselves. Now that's an annoyance. It's an annoyance. It's not a game-breaking feature, but it is annoying. We have to do that. On top of that, we also have to manage the ACU. Now the ACU, like I said, is the accident crisis unit, whatever it is. We have to manage this. And now we have 2 dead dinosaurs in our park. Dinosaur death is another feature that I'm not happy about. We'll come to that in just a minute. But we have 2 dead dinosaurs, so we have to manually click on our ACU center. We have 2 different types of helicopters. We've got the ACU helicopter and the transport teams. We have to manually click the transport teams, find the dinosaur, click it to remove it. And we've got 2 dead dinos. We've got to do that twice. Can we click both? Maybe we can, but still, we have to go through that process. There is no way to say, well, helicopter team, automatically remove dead dinosaurs in my park. Get rid of them. There's no way to automate that process. There's no way even to research it or anything like that. This, in my opinion, is just not acceptable. Making me babysit these like this is not acceptable. You are taking my time away from things I want to be doing. I want to be building a park. I want to be adding new dinosaurs. I want to be improving. I don't want to be babysitting. Now again, we have a sick dinosaur. Sickness will spread if you don't keep on top of it. My ranger teams are currently busy, but again, I will go and get them to medicate. I have to do this. I can't not do it. I mean, my dinosaurs will die if I don't. We now have a low health dinosaur. Can you see? This is the easiest island, by the way. This is the beginner island, the starter island, whatever you want to call it. This is the island that introduces you to the game, introduces you to some of the mechanics, but not all of the mechanics. We'll go into that later. This introduces you to some of the mechanics, and can you see already I am babysitting. I have not built anything yet. I am babysitting everything. And the more that you build, the more you have to babysit. So I just said about we have a dead dinosaur. Let's have a look at that. We have a dead dinosaur. Where is our dead dino? I think we've just got rid of it, in fact. But dinosaurs can die. There's a number of ways your dinosaurs can die. And they can die if you don't manage your disease. They can die from disease. That's fair enough. They can die if you put, for example, if you put a herbivore in a carnivore pen, the carnivores will eat them. That's fine. That makes sense. Don't do that. I mean, you can do it if you want. It can be fun. But, you know, that's going to happen. But we have disease. We have disease here everywhere now. Great. Dinosaurs also have a lifespan. And the lifespan, in my opinion, is another really negative mechanic in the game. And it's not a good mechanic because we have these dinosaurs in this paddock. This is a perfect example. This paddock was full of Dilophosauruses. I had like 4 or 5 of them in here. Currently it's empty. And the reason it's empty is because they all died. Now, if I go to my creation lab, if you look at the information here, you can see that this dinosaur has a lifespan of 74. 74, as far as I can tell, is minutes. That means that in 74 minutes, this dinosaur is going to die. 74 minutes is not long enough for me. I think there should be the option to either make that longer, make it shorter if you want, or be able to turn that mechanic completely off. Because here's the thing. I want to build the park, I want to add new things in, and I'm constantly trying to manage all of these things that are going off, and then I'm also having to repopulate my park because the animals are dying. And I really don't like it. I don't like that I have to keep doing this. There's no option to turn any of this stuff off. You can't turn off disease, you can't turn off, lifespan, you can't turn off, there are breakages, animals can break out, which we'll come to that soon. You can't turn any of this off. And you can there is a sandbox island, and I say sandbox in the loosest sense of the term. You can fiddle about with some of the options in that island, but you can't do it in any of the others. And I don't understand why. Well, I do understand why. They want to add challenge to the game. They want to add this, artificial challenge to the game. Well, it's not artificial, it is a challenge. But they want to add this challenge to the game. But what if I don't want to play a challenging game? What if I just want to play a nice, relaxing, let's build a park and enjoy it game? You can't really do that. You can't. You are forced to manage these mechanics. If you don't manage these mechanics, all of your dinosaurs die. Worst case scenario, some of your guests die, and you have to start all over again. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So let's release these Dilophosauruses. Now, when we release a new dinosaur, we get this nice little introduction. We get a little, oh, here's a nice little Dilophosaurus. How cool is that? It's nice and cute, right? Let's have a look at what it looks like. It has a nice little animation. It'll sniff around. It'll have a little look at its new environment. I like that. It's cool. It's a nice little touch. However, this happens every single time. Every single time you release a dinosaur. Every single time. Now, you can skip this. You can right-click to skip. But when you're trying to release, like if you upgrade a creation lab and have all these slots open, if you're trying to release like 5 dinosaurs in succession, that can get really annoying. It can get very, very annoying. It would be nice if after the first time you could turn that off. And I don't think you can. I've had a look at the options. Doesn't seem to be able to. So again, we have another dead dinosaur. What have we got now? We have Struthomymus has died. What has it died of? Can we find it? Where is it? It's there in the forestry. We can't quite see it in the forest, which is another little awkward thing that happens. You can't really go into the forest very much. See, it will try and take you across the top of the forest. But let's have a look. Where is it? Where is it? Can we find out what it died of? Very, very difficult to get to it when it is in that forest. There it is. I can just about see it. No, can I not click on it? I can't click on it apparently. But I'm going to guess that it died of old age. So again, now we have to transport it, we have to get rid of it. We can't automatically get rid of it, we have to do that. So I don't like those. I don't like those mechanics being forced upon you. I like that they're there, I like having the option of having them, but being able to either automate this system, I think we should be able to automate it or turn it off. One or the other. I'm not bothered which, let me automate it or let me turn them off. Which we currently cannot do. So those are my first concerns with the game. Those are my first problems that we have with the game. And this only gets worse as we get more into the game. Like I said, this is the first island. This is the easy island. This is the one where it's more peaceful than the others. And already this is an apparent problem. So let's have a quick look at the rest of the basic features before we move on to the next island. So we have our money. Money is very, very simple. We have running costs and we have revenue. It's very easy. It's very easy to manage. Money's not really a problem. Apart from on the third island, which we'll go to later. Money isn't really a problem. Like, you very quickly get to a point of where you have more money than you need. And that's fine. You know, it would be nice to have more depth to the money. You literally just have, okay, people come, they spend money, and you expend money on power. And obviously buying buildings and things like that costs money. But that's it. That's it. That's all that you really have to worry about. In fact, I didn't have to worry about money at all on my first island. But you also have a rating system. You have a rating system for your park, which is broken down to a dinosaur rating and a facility rating. Now, these all contribute to your island rating. Your island rating is your overall rating. We are currently sat at 3.5 stars. These mechanics are iffy. Iffy to say the least. Now let's have a look. So our dinosaur rating is currently at 2.5 stars. So this is like the overview, and it shows that we have 11 dinosaurs. That's in blue. It's showing that we have a great variety and a great welfare. Well, okay, what does that really mean? Let's have a little look. So if we click on it, that is all the information you get. That is it. That is all the information you get. We have a base rating, 11 dinosaurs. That gives us 369. 369 what? I'm assuming that's a score. Is that a high score? Is that a low score? Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. I don't know at all. Again, we have 11 dinosaurs. That's not green, so that's not perfect. So I'm guessing that 369 is not high enough. Apparently. And again, that's going to go down now because we have another death. So we have authenticity. Again, 62. How do I improve that? What is that? That's just gone down because we've lost a dino. How is that affected? What is that affected by? Tell me that. Don't just say authenticity 51. That means nothing to me. We have modifications 24. Again, is 24. Is modifications good? Are they bad? I don't know. So we do have minuses and we have positives. So I'm going to guess that modifications 24 is a good thing. So we want more modifications. Fair enough. Now we have no combating for me. I'm gonna guess that that's because no one's been killed in this park. But we do have a welfare penalty of -13. Well, what does that mean? Why have I got a welfare penalty of -13? Tell me that information. There is no way from here to find out that information. You can't hover over, you can't click, you can't get a detailed view on what that -13 means. That to me just says something's bad about the welfare. Well, what is it? What is it? I need to know that information. If it's a park builder, if it's a management sim game, anything like that, I need to know that information, and you're not giving me that information. Now I have a variety penalty of 0. That means my variety is fine. You know, we have great variety. Cool, I get that. But what's my welfare penalty? I have an inkling. I have a feeling on what it is, but which we'll come to in just a minute. But it doesn't tell me. It doesn't tell me anything about that at all. Now this problem is a little bit less for the facility rating, but it's still there. It's still apparent. So we have great safety, we have great capacity, and we have okay satisfaction. Okay, so my thought is, how do I increase my satisfaction? Let's have a look. So if we go to our guest satisfaction, we just have these, and we have percentages, okay? We've got dinosaur visibility, 68%. That's what we were talking earlier about. The more dinosaurs you can see, the better. But again, it just says 78%. Does that mean that 78% of my dinosaurs are visible? Does that mean that 78% of my guests are happy? What does that mean? It just says that we have now we've got 87% visibility. I've not changed anything. So I have a feeling that this is like a real-time thing. I don't like that. So if we have one dinosaur that is stood right in front of a viewer, that score is going to go up, and then if he goes and hides, that score is going to go down. I don't like that. I don't like that it's so volatile. But again, we have food rating, drink rating. What does this mean? 55%. Does that mean we don't have enough buildings? What does it mean? I've got a fast food there. I've got a fast food there. I've got 2 buildings. Does that mean I need more? Does it mean I need to lower the prices? What does it mean? It doesn't tell me. So if I look at my fast food, if I look at my building, these are the options that we have. Very, very limited options. We are selling Dino Bites for $2. We can sell Dino Fish or Dino Feast. Let's change it to a feast. And let's sell it for $16. Is that score going to go up? Is it going to go down? I have no idea. I have no idea. Let's add some more staff in. That is it. Do you see what I mean? It really just doesn't show me. It doesn't show me enough information. It doesn't tell me, well, people want more food, or people think the food's too expensive. This is a feature that were in Planet Coaster. If you play Planet Coaster, your guests will have their own thoughts and feelings, and for example, your guests will say, oh, we're too thirsty, you don't have enough drink buildings, and you go, okay, well, we'll build more drink buildings then. You have an overall guest experience, and in Planet Coaster your guests are broken down into 3 different categories. I don't want to go too much into detail about Planet Coaster, but in Planet Coaster you have children, you have adults, and you have teenagers, and you have different groups of people as well. Like you have thrill seekers who really like thrill rides, you have like family friendly people who want to like family rides, and so on and so forth, and you can kind of play around with trying to balance that out and trying to please everyone, and that's where the challenge comes, that's where the fun comes. This game does a very poor job at telling you what people think. What do people think of my park? What do they enjoy it? Do they hate it? Do they like my Ceratosaurus? Do they like Dino Bites? I don't know. It doesn't tell me. It just gives me an overall percentage score, and I don't like that. I think that is too shallow for a game in this genre. I think if Planet Coaster can do it, why can't this game? I don't want to compare too heavily to Planet Coaster, but Planet Coaster is made by the same development studio, and it's a very similar genre of games. It's a park builder. I thought this was going to be a park builder. So far, it's more of a park management, a simulator of anything. And there's a lot of features missing, and that's one of them. Tell me what my guests like. Tell me what they don't like. Tell me what they want to see more of. You know, there's nothing. There's no information whatsoever. All we have now is a food and drink rating of 43. What does that mean? What does that mean? We have a fun rating of 73. Again, what does that mean? Where are people having fun? What do they find fun? What don't they find fun? I don't know. And the problem gets even worse when we look at things like transport rating. So we have a transport rating of 11%. This is the starter island where you, to start with, you didn't have any transport unlocked. We unlocked this monorail on a different island. I came back and added this monorail, which goes from one end of the island pretty much to the other. And people are still not happy with my transport. I don't know why. It doesn't tell me why. So, as you can see, while I've been talking about all of these things and while I've been trying to figure out my park rating, we've just had a fence break. We've had 2 dino deaths, and we've got feeders missing. This frustrates the hell out of me. This feels like a survival game. It feels like I'm babysitting more than I'm running the park. I don't want to be the babysitter. I don't want to be a park ranger. I want to be the man who owns the park. I want to be the guy who runs the park. I don't want to be, you know, that park ranger. And I kind of feel like that's what we're doing. We're more of a you know, a park manager than a business owner, if you will. We're stood there telling people what to do. So we now have dinosaurs on the loose. Fantastic. So what do we got to do to resolve this situation? Well, first of all, we've got to tranquilize the dinosaur. So we have to click on this helicopter. We've got to go and tranquilize that dinosaur. Again, we could do that. We could pilot the helicopter, but I don't want to do that. We've then got to go and get the ranger team to repair the fence. Where is the brake? There's the brake. We've got to break that fence. Sorry, we've got to break it. We've got to repair that fence. Right, that's that done. And then we're going to have to move this when it's been tranquilized. I know why they've added this. They've added this because the films are all about, oh no, the park was great and then all the dinosaurs got out. I get that. I get that absolutely. I just don't like it. I don't like it. I want to be able to build my park and not worry about this shit if I so wish. If I want to have those mechanics on, then fine, we'll have them on, but there is no option to turn that off. Not in the regular parks. There isn't a way to turn that stuff off. So you might be thinking, well, why do dinosaurs escape? Why do they break the fences? Now, they break the fences usually because they're not happy. When a dinosaur isn't happy, they will break a fence and escape. That's usually what happens. Now, how do you manage a dinosaur's happiness? Well, if we click on a Brachiosaurus, if it'll let me click on a Brachiosaurus, can we? Oh, wait, we need to get out of there. We click on a Brachiosaurus. This is the Brachiosaurus, and this is how the Brachiosaurus feels. So our dinosaurs have sort of thoughts and feelings, sort of. So he's currently very healthy. He's at 100% health. He's currently not really hungry or thirsty. Yeah, and to be fair, as long as you add, you know, feeders and water to your pens, the dinosaurs will kind of look after their food and water themselves. They're very good at that. But my Brachiosaurus is currently very uncomfortable. He's in the red. Red is bad. He's very uncomfortable, so he's kind of likely to break out. Now, why is he uncomfortable? Comfort is these 2 options here, grassland and forest. He doesn't have enough grassland, and he doesn't have enough forest. This is frustrating for many reasons, and I'll tell you why it's frustrating right now. This pen has more than enough forest and grassland in it for this Brachiosaurus. The Brachiosaurus just doesn't use it very well. Now, what I mean is, if this Brachiosaurus was stood just over here, it would have much more forest and it would be fine. But because it stood down, and this seems to be my little problem area in this fence. This little weird shape here is the problem area. Any dinosaur that comes down here gets unhappy, and that's because their happiness is proximity based, not pen based. So if I find a dino Let's find one. I think most of them are dead because, again, we haven't been paying attention to our deaths. If I click on this Parasaurolophus here, it's proximity based. He's currently got 0 comfort. He's not happy because he hasn't got any friends. Even though they can have friends, the friends could be just too far away from them. So I really need a Brachiosaurus to show this off really what I mean, because it's very frustrating. Here we go. Here we go. See how his forest rating is creeping back up because he's in the middle of a forest? If he walks out of that forest, it's going to decline again. And in fact, he's going to the problem area. He's finding his way to my problem area. But can you see these are going to start to go down? There we go. They're going down because now my Brachiosaurus thinks he's in a small cage, but he's not. He's not in a small pen. He's in a large pen, but he thinks he's in a small one. The game does these values on proximity, not on the pen. Look at all this room we have. We've got loads of room up here. We've got all this room down here. We've got plenty of room for them. He just now thinks that he hasn't got room because he's now surrounded by... See, he's at 0% now because he thinks he's now in a tiny pen. And that really frustrates me. It really irritates me that it's proximity based and not pen based, because the dinosaurs will wander around in almost like a random fashion. You know, like his food is all up here. All the feeders are all up here. And all the dinosaurs are happy when they're here. But when they come to this area, they become unhappy and they start to break out. Now, I could easily fix that. I could easily fence this bit off here and do that. But, you know, why should I have to? There we go. He's going to break out now because he's unhappy. That is really frustrating to me. And there's no way to turn this off. Unless you're on the one sandbox island, which we'll come to, you can't turn this off. And so I'm going to have to do that whole process again. I'm going to have to sedate him. I'm going to have to repair the fence, and I'm going to have to transport him. This is irritating to say the least. I don't like this. I like that, you know, dinosaurs, they have the chance of breaking out, and I like that challenge, and that challenge would probably be more fun once you've finished building and you've got bored of building your park. But not while I'm in the middle of building it. Don't do it while I'm in the middle of building my park up, you know? I just don't enjoy that. Combined with the fact that your dinosaurs just die off left, right, and center, and you've got to also feed, you've got to manually, you know, you've got to manually refresh the feeders. All of these things combined together make this feel like a babysitting sim rather than a park builder. So that's the first island. Again, this is the easy one. This is the easy island. Let's go and have a look at some of the more difficult ones. Let's go and have a look at the second island. The second island is where the game starts to get even more difficult than it is. There we go. Fence is broken again. I'm not particularly bothered right now. Let's go to the second island. We'll go to Isla Muerta. There we go. Let's go to that island. The second island is where they introduce weather. They introduce storms to the game. Now, storms just add even more challenge to the game because storms have a chance of breaking all your buildings, and that includes fences. And as we've already seen, dinosaurs can break out of their own volition without storms. So this level really adds more difficulty, and that's fine if you're after a challenge. If you're really enjoying the challenge of the game, then that's great. You're going to enjoy this. You're going to enjoy having more difficulty, but I'm not. I just want to build a park. You know, I want to build another park. And something I don't know if I mentioned before, but the maps are very small. This is the second map. This is the second map. It's not really much bigger than the first one. We have a little room down here that we've not utilized, but they're not big by any means. They are very small. You are very limited on what you can actually build. We only have 2 small paddocks there. We have a paddock there and a paddock there, and that is most of our space gone already. And remember, if you don't build a large enough paddock, your animals will get unhappy and they will break out. So it's not like you can build smaller paddocks either. So again, immediately we're here. We have feeders that need replenishing. We are back to babysitting mode. We will replenish those feeders because again, we can't automate this, so we have to do this ourselves. Which is the one that is empty. Doesn't. Oh, where has it gone? Okay, maybe we might have already done that earlier. Let's just go ahead and resupply these anyway. But it's more of the same. It's more of the same. There's not really, apart from the storms, there isn't really much difference from this island to the first island. But this is a whole new map. This is a whole new level. There are no modes in this game. This is a whole new island. What's the point? What is the point of having this island after the first island? when we don't have modes. I would rather have fully fleshed out modes, which we're missing. We don't have a sandbox mode. We don't have challenge modes. There is a challenge map. The next island is kind of a challenge island, which we'll come to. I kind of want to see it. I kind of want to show you a storm. The next island was more of a challenge island mode, but it's very shallow. It's actually exploitable as well. There is an exploit where you can negate the challenge. It's not a full challenge mode. Planet Coaster had several challenges, dozens of challenges in Planet Coaster. You had, you know, parks that were dangerous. You had parks that didn't have much money. You had parks that struggled to find a theme and you had to try and fix them, and all of these were independent. Like, you started one challenge, you finished it, you could replay the challenge, you could do a different challenge. They were all independent. Now this game is different. In this game, your research progress and all of the dinosaurs that you unlocked and all of the buildings that you have unlocked are shared between islands, but your money is not. And your money is not because of the challenge mode, which we'll come to. But I don't see why. Apart, you know, I do see why, and I'll explain why very shortly. But why, if we have 45 million on my first island, why can I not spend that on my second island? It seems illogical to me. Now that's fine. Again, they kind of want you to start with nothing, but money isn't even a problem anyway. Money is not a difficult part of this game. Money is very easily acquired. So you might think, well, why are you complaining that you can't spend your money? Because what's the point? I've got 45 million on my first island that I have nothing to spend on. And I have 9 million on this island, which I'm actually running out of room to spend on anyway. So what is the point? What is the point of not being able to spend my money on one island to the next? Because really, I'm running out of things to spend on anyway. It just doesn't seem like money is really that much of a problem in this game, apart from on the third island, which we'll come to. So I'm hoping we'll get to see a storm. Now, storms are the only difference between this island and the first one. The only difference. The missions are slightly different. You have different. These are your missions. You have slightly different ones, but really they don't really add all that much depth to the game. It's little missions like expedition for a carnivore fossil. Okay, we'll go and do that then. Let's go and do an expedition for a carnivore. Sure, why not? Let's go find a carnivore. Let's get. In fact, I would like. What's that one? There we go. Dinoceus. Sure. Let's go do that. There we go. That's the mission. That'll complete. That's it. Some of the missions are a little bit harder. Some of them are a little bit easier, but they're not really interesting. They're not really there for anything else apart from to unlock things, which is fine. You know, I'd rather have the missions than not have them. Should we research something as well? Again, we might as well just research everything. There's no penalties on researching everything, so let's just research absolutely everything. I'm just now waiting for a storm. I'm waiting for a storm just to show you the unique spin on this island, because that's the only unique spin, is the storms. So we have these emergency shelters, which we unlocked on this island, and these are how you manage your storms. So storms are random. They just appear at random. You get a little bit of a warning, and then once the storm appears, they just start damaging buildings. And when that happens, you want to open your emergency shelters, because the storm has a chance at damaging fences, and we have some carnivores. Again, we have some more Ceratosauruses. We have some smaller carnivores in here. Now, if these get loose, they will attack people. They will attack and kill people, which is bad for you. You get sued, things like that. It's not good, okay? Disease contract, fantastic. More disease, more babysitting that we need to do. Again, if we don't do that, it's going to spiral out of control. But yeah, these dinosaurs, if they get loose, they can kill people, which is bad and affects your park rating. So when a storm appears, you really want to open all your shelters. And now shelters have a limited range. They only cover so much of the park. We have two. You can see one down there. You can see one there. We have two shelters. That means that most of our park is covered, so that's fine. It's a very shallow mechanic. It's fine. You know, it's fine to have it. I'm glad that they've got it in there, but it's a very shallow mechanic. They added these in because of all of this, you know, extra challenge that we have. All of the fence being broken, all of the dinosaurs escaping. That's what that's there for. But really, this second island was not all that interesting to me. It's like, okay, so it's just the first island with storms. And if I'm being honest with myself, if I'm being honest with you, I didn't like the random things of dinosaurs escaping. So I don't like the storms either. Because here's the thing: what we got to do when our buildings get damaged, we have to repair them. And how do we repair them? We repair them with the ranger station. We click on that, we click on ranger team, we click on the thing that needs repairing, just like the fences, and the rangers go out and repair them. And again, you can't automate that. You cannot automate it at all.
That's a valuable skill.
So a lot of these missions are voice acted, and I have a problem with that too. As I think you can tell, I have a lot of problems with this game. When you're learning the game, and for example, if you open up your rating system, you will get a little, it's a shame I can't show you, but you'll get a little thing that pops up and it'll say, this is your rating screen, and then it'll say next, and you click on next and it'll go, this is what this means, and then next, and that's fine. But then at the same time, the voice actors will pop up and start speaking over it, while you're trying to read. And it's really frustrating. It happened on stream. I was trying to read it out loud to the stream, and after about 3 seconds of me reading, in pops a voice actor. And again, that's just a minor problem, but it really annoys me that the game tries to assault you with both, you know, written text and voice acted text that don't say the same thing either. They say different things, which is a little bit annoying. Like, I do them separately. Show me the voice acting first and then let me read, or let me read and then show me the voice acting, whichever. Don't try and do them at the same time. But again, that's a little minor problem. It's nothing really major. You know, I can live with that. I can live with that. So we actually did have a storm earlier before I left this island, so it might be a little while till we get another storm. But as you can see now, I'm doing nothing. I'm really doing nothing. There's nothing I kind of want to build right now, and I don't really need to do much on this island. But we're still having to babysit these animals. We're still having to replenish their feeders. We're still having to keep continuously pumping out new ones because they keep dying, and I don't like that. So what do we got? What do we got in here? We've got some Edmontosauruses, some Triceratops. Let's do another Edmontosaurus. Why not? So we'll do some more Edmontosaurus. In fact, should we do let's do 2 of them. Let's do 2 of them. See, our research is complete. Again, we might as well just research everything. There is no reason not to. So we got our fossils back. We got our fossils back. Let's extract that DNA. We got the new one. We've got a new carnivore. And we've got Myosaura. We'll probably be able to start getting Myosauras after we have done that. And we're actually going to keep these. We're going to keep these items here in just a minute. And I'm going to show you why we're going to keep them. So let's go. We didn't see a storm. That's a shame. Something else that's missing from this game is a fast forward feature. It's not essential. It's not essential whatsoever. But it would be nice to have a fast forward feature when you're waiting for things like buildings to build. We can't fast forward, which is a little bit of a shame. So, okay, that was a good example just there of when the game shows you things and then immediately speaks over it. That was only a small voice acting bit, but that's what the game does. It will show a pop-up like this, and then it will immediately speak over it. Oh, so this is one of our objectives. So we've got to use the Rangers team camera to take a photo of at least one, I can never say this one, Huongosaurus? We got to do that. We'll accept that mission. So one feature, one mechanic that I didn't talk about yet is the 3 divisions that we have down here. Now we have 3 divisions in the park. We've got the Science Division, the Entertainment Division, and the Security Division. And this is how you get your missions. This is how you get your objectives. These 3 people, they all kind of vie for your attention. They all say, we need more security, we need more science, and we need more entertainment. And they will periodically pop up with a new little mission for you to do. And the more missions you complete, the more they'll give you. Now, that's fine. I like that. And I like that each one has its own unlocks. That's fantastic. So, for example, if we pursue science, we can end up unlocking a research item, dig yield. Or if we do entertainment, we can unlock research speed or a new genome, and so on and so forth. My problem is it's based on a reputation system. So if I complete a mission for security, I will get more reputation with security. You can see the progress bars down here. But at the same time, if I complete a mission for security, it lowers my reputation for both entertainment and science, and they all do this. So if I complete missions for science, it will reduce my reputation with entertainment and security. Why? Why? I understand what they tried to do. They tried to again, add more challenge in by making it so you can't please everyone, and all of your park managers are trying to, you know, vie for your resources and vie for your attention, and they're trying to add that feeling of, oh, you can't please everyone. It just didn't work. It just feels like, well, you're taking progress away from me. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't feel like a well thought out mechanic. It just sort of seems pointless. It just seems pointless. It's like, right, okay, I'm getting close to my security unlock, but I better not do any of these missions then, because I'm gonna lose reputation with them. It just doesn't seem very well thought out to me. But there we go. That's that. Again, it's nice to have the missions. The missions keep you engaged. They give you things to do. So we want a photo of a Huongosaurus. Let's go try and do it. Do we have Huongosauruses actually? Do we have them? I don't know. As far as I'm aware, this is another problem with the game. As far as I'm aware, there are no ways to like look at your list of dinosaurs. You have to go and actually look. You know, we have these view modes. We have like dinosaur visibility, which shows us our visibility. We have power, which shows us our power. That's nice and all. Again, we have like fun. We have fun here. What the hell does this mean? This has a high demand for fun. Does that mean they need more fun? It's in red, so I'm guessing that's bad. So how do we increase the fun? I don't know. But this is, and again, fun rating of 73%. That's just an overall number. It doesn't tell me enough information about that. And there is, as far as I'm aware, no way to look at all of my dinosaurs in a list. I have to manually go through and look at my dinosaurs. I don't think that you can. You know, where's the dinosaur menu? Where's the menu that shows me all of my dinosaurs in a list? There isn't one. There isn't one. Great, we have another dead dinosaur. Let's go and remove that. Can you tell? I don't like that feature. I don't like that mechanic. We still haven't had a storm. Oh yeah, we wanted a Huongosaurus, didn't we? Let's go and do that. Let's add a Huongosaurus in. Let's just put one in. How big are they? Let's just put one in there. We'll incubate that. And we do have a dinosaur ready to release. Again, we have to watch that little cinematic every time. We have to skip it. So we're waiting for that Huongosaurus to incubate. It does have 74% chance of being incubated, so that should be fine. But as you can see, there's not really any difference to this island to the other one. It's not a separate mode, is it? It's not a separate game mode or anything like that. It is just the same thing again with storms this time. We haven't even seen the storm yet. But all that adds is just more babysitting. You know, you've got to go around with the rangers and repair stuff more often. I don't think that this is an acceptable game mode. I think this is just another small map. And a lot of this map was already built. A lot of these buildings were already built when you get here. Now, of course, you can delete them and start again. You could start completely from afresh, but why would you? Why would you bother with that? I don't know why you would, honestly. So we'll wait for that Huongosaurus to incubate, and we'll release that out. Let's release that dinosaur again. We'll watch this cinematic, because I've not seen this one for a while. There we go. It's a nice little animation. Nice little. Here's your new dinosaur. I like that. That's fine. So let's go and try and complete that mission. We'll try and complete that mission. So we need a ranger. So let's drive the vehicle. We have to do photos ourselves. We can't get the rangers to take it. We are all of a sudden dropping frames, and I'm not sure why. The game runs quite well. Something I've not actually spoken about yet. The game does run quite well. I have a decent computer, but it runs it very well. We are in the moment. We are in quite high graphics. So if I just have a quick look at that, if I go to my graphics, we are running things on ultra and high. Should we just turn down the... Let's turn down the water a little bit. And what else do we want? What else do we want? Ambient occlusion, let's turn that down. I'm not bothered about that. Okay. See if that helps the frame rate at all. There we go. Perfect. So we need to take a photo of the Huangusaurus. There we go. We get some money for that. And that is the mission complete. But can you see now that lowers our reputation with the other two factions? Why? Why? What is the point? It just makes me feel like you want to just focus on one faction, but then that's not how you unlock things. It seems silly to me. We're actually dropping lots of frames now.
We worked so well together in the past, I thought I'd give you a chance to do it again. Get in on this one.
Here we go. So this is a mission from the entertainment faction. They want us to incubate and release at the Hammond Creation Lab 3 different dinosaurs. Now, I don't really want velociraptors on this island, if I'm being honest, knowing that we have constant storms.
All sorts of ways you can take that phrase, especially here on the
I
islands.
don't particularly want velociraptors on this island, but we're going to have to if we want to complete that mission.
Say head count, but I'm not sure that's really any better. Attendance numbers then.
So there we go. We got another dead dinosaur, so we got to remove that.
You're in? Cool. Cool. Okay, we'll start at the beginning. New dinos. Incubate them, hatch them, and house them. You know the drill.
Hey, everybody, we're putting on a show. It's going to be a
That is
hundreds of millions of years in the making. Sorry you may not survive.
That is actually Jeff Goldblum. I like that. They've hired him for this film, from the film for this game. They've hired him in. That's a nice touch. But there's always a but. But I think that might have something to do with the price point. And we haven't yet spoken about the price point. The price point, in my opinion, for this game is too high. I think for a $60 game, I think this game should be feature complete, and I don't think it is. I think the things that we have discussed so far that are missing from this game really hurt it. We're not actually getting the storm on this island, so let's move on. Let's move on because I don't want to spend all day here. Now let's go to the third island. The third island is supposed to be a challenge mode. So the idea with the third island is when you start, you have minus 950,000 and you have a load of buildings and your money is negative. So you have a net negative money. You're spending more than you're earning. And it's supposed to be a challenge mode. It's supposed to be like, oh, okay, how do you turn this park around? Let's make it challenge. Because again, your money is not shared across parks, but your research and everything else is. Now there is a very easy way to cheese this, and I will show you in a minute. If you don't want to learn how to cheese this, don't watch this part of the video. But we can very easily cheese this challenge, and I don't know if they didn't think about this. I don't know if they expected people not to realize. I'm not sure. But remember earlier we were talking about when you go on expeditions you get fossils, right? All I had to do on this challenge mode, again, because it's not a full challenge mode, it's just another island with a twist. It's not a full mode. So on this challenge mode, all I had to do was delete enough buildings until I could afford a fossil center and expedition center, and now I can sell my fossils that I acquired on a different island. And look, they're not insignificant amounts of money. Some of them are worth much more than that. So there we go. That's all you need to do to win this challenge. The whole point of this map is to be a challenge mode, because there isn't an actual challenge mode in this game. There are not, again, Planet Coaster had several challenges, dozens of different challenges that all had their own unique objectives. Like, for example, there was a challenge mode on Planet Coaster where you were given a Wild West theme park that was entirely unsuccessful. It was hemorrhaging money, it had an unfinished coaster in it, and your main objective was to reach a certain level of income. Like, you had to go from reaching a negative income to a positive one, and that's how you won that challenge. That's what they tried to do here. They tried to do the same thing here, except the objectives, in my opinion, don't facilitate the challenge. Like, we should have a, okay, you know, reach 1 million income or whatever to win this challenge, but there isn't. It's just the same rating. It's exactly the same rating that we've been using on all of the others. So to unlock new islands, you've got to get to a 3-star rating. Why did you not tailor the objectives of this map to the challenge? The challenge was, you have no money, you are running at a loss. Why not tailor the objectives? You didn't tailor the objectives. Look, you're telling me to get herbivores and things. Don't tell me to do that. Tell me, make it a proper challenge. This, in my opinion, is not a proper challenge mode. It is just another island with a twist. And that twist, in my opinion, is easily avoidable with the fossils. Sure, you don't have to do that. You don't have to sell the fossils from the other island. But look now, I can go back to the first island. I can go back to that island. I can run an expedition and I can sell all of those fossils on this island. Yes, again, you don't have to do that. You can do that, the challenge, without doing that. But if it's there, I'm going to use it. If there's an ability to do that, I'm going to do it. I'm that kind of player, and I know a lot of people are. So again, we'll skip this intro that we see every time. So we go on an expedition. We view our expedition. We can literally pick any one we want. There we go. We wait a few minutes and then we sell those fossils on the third island. That negates the whole point of the third island for me. The third island is now worthless. It's now useless. There's no point. And without there being any real challenge modes, any real challenge maps apart from that one, what's the point? What's the point? That's just a waste of development time. We have a dead dinosaur. We have a breach. Again, all of this is the easy island. We're still babysitting right now. We are
adding task.
Oh, I didn't want to drive it. I wanted to add a task. Let's go and fix the fence again.
Request received.
Again, I could fix that. I could fix that by doing a fence. Doing the fence better. I don't want it curved. But I could do that, right? There we go. I could do that, and that's probably going to help a little bit. I guess it's going to help a little bit. But, in fact, sometimes it might even be quicker just to build a new fence than send your rangers out. But I just don't know. The inability to turn these off, the inability to play the game how I want to play it, because I wanted to play this as a park builder, not as a management sim, not as it feels more like a survival game, and that's not how I wanted to play it. So is our expedition finished? Let's have a quick look. Our expedition is less than a minute, so we'll wait for that to finish. We'll head back to the island, and that's the third island. That's the thing. And then once you've figured out that money problem, all you're doing again is just reaching 3 stars. All you're doing is just filling it with the same dinosaurs that you already have, and there's no real difference there. Now, there are things in the game that I've not unlocked yet. There are things like the Stratospheres, the big spheres from the Jurassic World movie. You can build those, and I'm sure that's going to be interesting when we've unlocked those islands. If those islands are big enough, because so far, none of the islands I have been on have been big enough for me. They have absolutely not been big enough for me. So we actually didn't get any worthless, you know, we got 120k. So let's extract the DNA on those ones. And now we go back to the other island, and you just do that until you have enough money that you need. Again, it's a cheesy way of doing it, but if it's there, I'm going to do it, right? So that whole third island is in my opinion, worthless. So I haven't unlocked Isla Sorna. That looks a lot bigger to me. Maybe that's going to be better. Isla Pina, if I'm saying that right, is very, very small compared to all the rest, so I don't know what's going to happen with that one. But we have unlocked Isla Nublar. So to unlock Isla Nublar, you've got to get 4 stars on any island, and we did that. We got it on the first island. It's dropped in stars because of all the escapes, but we did get 4 stars. In fact, it's hemorrhaging stars. See what I mean? It feels like we're babysitting rather than we're building our empire. So let's go and have a look at this is supposedly the sandbox. See, it says it's up to you to succeed where others have failed before you in this sandbox. So let's go and have a look at the sandbox, because I don't think it's a proper sandbox. I think it's a half-arsed. Honestly, it's a half-arsed sandbox. We'll have a look. I'm glad that we have it. I'm glad that we have it. They're not having it. But it, in my opinion, it doesn't excuse the lack of modes, because that's what it is here. We've got a lack of modes. We don't have enough modes. We have 5 islands. Was it 5 or 6? 5 or 6 islands, and that's it. That's all that's in the game. And already the first 3 islands have not really impressed me, if I'm being honest. So this is what I've built. This was completely empty to start with. All of the trees and all of that water and everything were there. We deleted a lot of the trees. But I have started an island. Now beware, I tried to have fun with this island. So this is it. This is the size of your sandbox. That's it. That's it. That's the largest map you can get. That's your sandbox, but don't worry about that. We did this on purpose on stream. But that is your sandbox. It's not that big, right? It's really not that big. I don't understand why that's it. That's all we have. And again, we have weird little shapes. That's all we have. That's the biggest sandbox. And I don't know. I just don't think it's big enough. So what we actually did with this one was we filled a load of pens with T-Rexes and T-Rexes and Velociraptors, and then we let them out. We just let them out for fun, just to see what would happen. We're just letting them run around and murder people. Now we do have, oh, we just lost Adonria. We named her Adonria. That Ceratosaurus has now killed 2 of my T-Rexes. But yeah, we try and have a little bit of fun with this and cause chaos. And honestly, the chaos is not really that chaotic. Like, we have some nice animations. The Velociraptors will savagely murder people, so will the T-Rexes, and so on and so forth. But it's just a little bit underwhelming. Like, if I'm going to release this amount of carnage on my park, I want full carnage. I want real carnage, and it doesn't really seem that way. But that is it. That is the size of the sandbox that you have. Now on your sandbox mode, you do have some more settings. You have sandbox settings. So you can take off disease, which I did. You can turn off the weather, which I did. You can change the time of day. You can turn off escapes if you want to, and you can turn off power outages. We haven't talked about power outages. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I like that. That's good. That should have been in the entire game, not just the sandbox. It should have been in the entire game. And I know why it's not in the entire game, because they want to add challenge so that unlocks take you longer. But they want to add, in my opinion, they want to add challenges to make things take longer to unlock, to artificially extend the length of the game, because there really isn't all that much in it. There really isn't all that much in it. So again, let's look at the power before I forget. So your power stations, you can upgrade them and give them more output. Like, I think 70 is actually upgraded already. Yeah, so that's already upgraded. I think 60 is their base. Now, if you upgrade them, they have a chance to just shut off randomly. Just randomly, just turn off. And if they turn off, all of the buildings that they are powering also turn off. Makes sense, right? Now, again, that means that electrified fences, if they're powered by that one that turns off, they're off. Which means that your dinosaurs are going to escape. This is to add more challenge to the game. Again, I like that we have that. I like to have challenges when I want a challenge. It's nice to have them. But I think that is there to lengthen the game out and make it take longer, because there really isn't all that much. If you look at the building options available, you know, we have our core operation buildings. They're the things like your ranger station and your ACU, you know, your core things that you need. That's it. We have our guest buildings. These are things like your shops and your hotels. That is it. And then we have power, which is required for every building, and we have the paddocks. And that is it. That is all that's in the game. There are no aesthetic customizations. You can't put decorations down. There are no, you know, bonuses for having a pretty park. Like, no one gives a shit. No one cares if your park looks good or looks bad or anything like that. You can't, like, here's a perfect example, right? Ignore this horrible mess. I'm not a designer. Ignore this horrible mess. But I would like to have had like a fountain or something here. I like to do that. I like to make my parks try and look nice, and I appreciate when things like Planet Coaster, people will actually rate your park better if they look nice. We can't do that here. Again, because this is not a park builder. This is more of a crisis management sim at this point. You know what I mean? Like, the game wants your dinosaurs to escape and you to manage it. That's what they want. They want you to to try and stop this from happening. That's the whole point of this game. We let this happen in this game. In fact, we just deleted bits of fence in this game. That's what we did. We deleted bits of fence to let all these dinosaurs out. And even then, look, what's the problem? Like, yeah, people are running away. Some people aren't. We're still getting people into the park. Do you know what I mean? It's just, okay, sure thing. I think if this happens on your other maps, then you'll get sued and things like that. Apparently you can get sued and then that causes money problems, but on the sandbox mode, really, what's the point? That's it, you know. It's a little bit underwhelming. But there is no decorations, there are no different types of trees, there are no real customizations on your shops. You can just sort of choose from a tiny list of things. Like we take our toy shop. We can either sell stickers, plushies, or Arceosaurus, that is it. And all the different options all they do is just, well, some cost more and some cost less. That's it. That is it. You don't see people walking around with plushies. You don't see them walking around with hats. You can sell hats in the clothes shop. Where's the clothes shop? You can sell hats in the clothes shop. You don't see people walking around in the hats. Do you know what I mean? You don't see people walking around in dino onesies. You just don't see it. It would be great if you did, but you don't. It's all very shallow. It's a very shallow park builder. In fact, I almost feel like the park building is only there so you can have this crisis element of the game. And that's fine. That's fine. It makes it unique. It makes it interesting compared to other park builders, but I really am disappointed. I'm disappointed in the lack of depth that this game has. And I think that this game at $60, I paid £45 for it. I think at that price point, it should have a lot more depth. Now, a lot of people are saying, oh, but it might come in future patches, or it might come in DLC. If it comes in future patches, that doesn't accept it. That doesn't excuse the fact that it's missing on launch. I don't care. I don't care if it comes a week down the line in a patch. It should have been here now. As soon as you start charging for a game, and you charge $60, I expect a $60 experience. And so far, this game has not provided that for me. Look at this. Look at the amount of buildings you can make. This is so limited. This is very, very, very limited. And a lot of the buildings are really shallow as well. Like I say, the buildings that we do have, all these shops, don't really need to bother with them, honestly. You just put them down and that's it. You forget about them. You don't really need to bother too much about any of your guest buildings. Like hotel, what can you do with your hotel? Nothing. Nothing. You can't do anything. It's just a hotel. You have more hotels, you can have more guests. That's it. It's very shallow. And all you really have to do with them is power them. That is it. And honestly, one of the main problems I have again with the buildings is they're so difficult to place. They're so difficult. If you want to place a building down, you have to get it right in the perfect thing. And a lot of the time, a slight incline is going to stop your building from being placed. This has happened to me several times before. Like this. That's a good example. What is obstructing that? What is obstructing that? I know there's a bit of water there, but it happens a lot where a slight incline, and it doesn't happen a lot on this map because this map is very flat. But the other maps aren't. The other maps aren't flat. They're not flat at all. And like this, look at this. A slight incline there. A slight incline. Look at how much that incline is. That is not a steep hill at all, and it will not let you build because it's on an incline. It's very annoying. And then you can go into your terrain. Of course you can. You can go into your terrain and try and flatten it. You can try and flatten it. You can do that, but a lot of the time it just doesn't work. It just won't let you do it. Again, it's not much of a problem on this map because this map is very flat naturally because it's the sandbox map. But on the other maps, it's a huge problem. You are limited on your space. You are limited. See again, look what's wrong with it. There's something wrong with it there apparently. Slight incline. You know, it's very odd. It's very odd. I probably should have shown that on another map because this map is not the best example for that. But a lot of people have had problems with where they place their buildings. In fact, I'll show you now. I will go back to my original map, the first map, to show you how frustrating that can be, because it can be very, very frustrating. So let's go back to my first map. Again, a very small map with very limited amount of room because all of the islands so far have been tiny, and you're struggling to fit buildings in places, and that's why I think the maps aren't big enough. Okay, so we'll skip this intro. Again, this intro plays every time you load a map. Here is where I had a significant problem. Can you see can you see we have a slight curve there? I tried to pop a building down here. I can't remember what building it was. I tried to pop a building down here, and nope, it's not letting you do it. It just won't let you do it. I tried to flatten it. I tried to smooth it. I tried to do all sorts with it, and I think it was the hotel that I tried to put. Yeah, it was. Nope, won't let you build it there. Will not let you build it. Will not let you build it at all. Why not? That is now dead space. And when your maps are this small, that can be really frustrating. Very, very, very frustrating, honestly. So that's another thing that I don't like about this game. I think it could be fixed. It could be easily fixed. But again, I'm not bothered about whether it could be fixed in a month or whether it could be fixed in a year. I'm bothered about what the game is like now. And a lot of people have said, well, this game probably they rushed it out, you know, to get it to come out in time with the film. I think they did. And I don't know why. Because honestly, if you're gonna rush a game out like this and have it half complete, then charge less. Don't charge full retail price, because that's what they're charging. They are charging full retail price. They are charging the same as full complete experiences like The Witcher or whatever, like any game, you know what I mean? And I just don't think there's enough in this game to warrant that price point. I really don't. I can't say that I haven't had fun with this game, because I have, and I'm still having fun with this game. I'm enjoying it. It's an enjoyable experience. But the lack of depth, the game having very, very few buildings to choose from, and you know, you have a lot of dinosaurs, sure, but a lot of the time you're babysitting them rather than we have another roaming dinosaur. You know, having to babysit your dinosaurs, it doesn't feel like a park builder, and I was expecting a park builder, and maybe that is my fault. Maybe I was expecting this to be Planet Coaster with the dinosaurs, and it's not that. It's not that. And if you were expecting that, then I'm sorry, but it's not. It is a very different game, and that is more than okay. That is more than okay that it is a different game to Planet Coaster. It's more than okay that it's not a park builder, but I really think it could have been so much better than it is now. So those are my first impressions on this game. Like I say, I do like it. Please don't think that I don't. I do like it as a game. I just don't think it's worth full retail price. I think honestly, for the game in the state it is now, I think I don't know. I don't really want to give it a price, but I think 60 is too high. 30 or 40, something like that. It's not worth the full 60. That is my takeaway from this video. Definitely try it, but wait for a sale. Wait for a sale or something like that before paying 60, because I do not think it's worth the 60. But that's it. That's my opinions of this game. Thank you very much for watching. I have been streaming it. I streamed it twice already. I'm probably going to stream it again. So if you have any, if you have any questions about the game, feel free to leave a comment down below, and I will try and answer them. Like I said, I'm not going to do a score. I don't think scores are useful. I'm going to do I recommend this game or I don't recommend this game. And I do recommend this game, but not at full price. That is my final thought on the game. I think it's good. I think it's overpriced. So if you have any questions, leave a comment below. I will answer them for sure. Or come and check out my Twitch channel, and there's a lot of gameplay on there where we hung out together, we played it. And I don't know what I'm doing about these types of videos. I'm not sure if I want to do regular review style videos. I'll see. I quite enjoyed making this one. It's a little bit different to what I usually do. It's a little bit different to my usual content, but I kind of enjoyed it. I feel like I needed to talk about this one, because I feel like there's a lot of people that are going to spend money on this and maybe not be disappointed, but maybe wish they'd have waited for a sale. And so I really needed to talk about it and talk about how I don't believe it's worth the price it's asking for. And I just wanted my opinions out there. And if you have different opinions, if you think it absolutely is worth $60, please let me know in the comments below, and I will have a discussion with you on that. It'd be really interesting to see if anyone does think this is worth $60. I'd be really interested to find out if anyone has that opinion. But for now, I will leave it there, and I will see you all next time.